YouTube. What's up, baby? We back in this thing again for another review. This is Q's Insight. I am Callie, and today we're going to be talking about Halo Episode 2, Season 1, of course, and Episode 2 is entitled Unbound, okay? So if you've been to this channel before, you know how we started off. We started off with the premise, 3 of my favorite scenes, the grade, and then we're on to the next one, right? So for this, Halo Episode 2, Unbound, in the beginning of this episode, we see a younger Master Chief, and he's like in bed or whatever it may be, and he's at like the HQ, you know what I'm saying, for the training for the Spartans. And it's a few of them all in this one like bunker type room, you know what I'm saying, just sleeping. So he gets up out of bed and sneaks out of the base. Now, we don't know, is he sneaking out by himself? Like, is he, what is he doing per se? So once he gets outside of the base, he ends up sneaking his way to meet up with his friend Soren. And Soren is also another Spartan as well in training. And when he gets to Soren, we find out that Soren is planning to leave the base because he feels like the UNSC is basically using the Spartan, military or warriors, however you want to say. They're using them like slaves, like dogs, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they train the people and they're programming them. They're not letting them be humans anymore, pretty much. They're basically turning them into, per se robots, And being that Soren understands that the UNSC is doing these things, he wants to leave, but he's friends with the Master Chief, you know what I'm saying? And he wants him to come along with him, but Master Chief ends up changing his mind. He doesn't end up leaving, and he ends up pulling out a gun on Soren, telling him that, you have to stay here. I know I said I was going to do this, and I know we were going to do that, but you have to stay here. We can't leave. And Soren basically pleads to Master Chief that, hey, this is not the right place. You're not even human anymore. Like, you don't even understand that you got choices, you got memories, man. You can do a lot of things on your own when you have freedom. And you're not allowed to have that here. And I don't want that for me, and I don't want that for you. And so what ends up happening is Soren pleads his case well enough to the point where Master Chief ends up, letting them go. But Soren, before he leaves, he tried, man. He tried to make Master Chief leave, but he couldn't get him to leave. So Master Chief stays at the base, and that's it for that scene. So then, basically, we go back to the present day, and we see that, Master Chief and Quan are still in space, and they're heading to a safe place, a place to hide her, because for right now, we know that the UNSC is after her. And then from there, Quan and Master Chief are heading to the safe place, and then we skip and we see Catherine, and she's talking to one of the captains or one of the admirals about Master Chief and the artifact that he found, and they end up making a plan to send some of the Spartans after Master Chief and Quan to bring them back to HQ. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to get Quan, they want to maybe get Master Chief, or just have him. And they definitely want the artifact that Master Chief found. Okay, so then we go back and we see Chief and Quan. They made it to a place called the Rubble. And when they get there, they see that it's just one of those places where you just have like freedom to do what you want, you know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that are there that almost look like criminals, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like Demolition Man when they're like under the ground, you know what I'm saying? But that's not the case, though. They're not all criminals that live there and stuff like that. It's just people just trying to be free and live without having to coexist with the UNSC as well as the Covenant. So when we get there, we see that the people of it's like a big asteroid that got destroyed, and you know they just have bases all throughout this asteroid. So once they get there, they see the people, and the people are kind of scared of Master Chief, and they're just kind of you know trying to get their boss and to come handle this, because they don't know what to do. This is a Spartan. What I'm saying? Like, Spartans are warriors that are not to be messed with. Covenant aliens are warriors not to be messed with. When you're just a regular human. So they end up getting their boss, and who's their boss? Soren. All right, so we get reintroduced back to Soren as an adult. Just as Master Chief is an adult now as well. And okay, so Soren ends up telling Master Chief and Quan that the UNSC and the Madrigal, the people of Madrigal, now that Quan's father is dead and is no longer leading the people of Madrigal, there's a new person leading, and their name is, I'm trying to find it. I think it starts with like a V or something, yeah, Venture or Vin. Yeah, I think it's Venture. It's either Venture or Vinchin. I do not have my paperwork where or my notes that I put like the people's names. So I think it's Vinchin. All right, so I think it's Vinchin. Sorry about that. It was this dog that pees everywhere, so I had to make sure it ain't stay here. So like I said, Soren tells Quan and Chief and Master Chief that UNSC and the people of Madrigal that are now being led by Vinchin want Quan dead. And they've placed a bounty on her head. So from there, Soren takes Master Chief and Quan back to his house. And we see Soren has a wife and he has a son. So he's obviously, completely woken up and is knows the fact that he's a human. You know what I'm saying? He can make decisions. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to be no puppet. He didn't want to be no robot. So he's obviously fully, awake. So anyways, we see Soren's wife and son. We then see the scene with the Covenant, and like the higher Covenant members are talking to I don't know what this alien's name. I don't know if it's the Arbiter or not, but I call him the Arbiter just because of Halo the game when you have the Arbiter on there. But the Arbiter tells the higher ups that about the Master Chief and the artifact and how it reacted to his touch, and when it did, he saw the halo, and so the ring. You know what I'm saying? And so they say that they need to get it back from the Master Chief. So they're making a plan to do so. Then from there we go back. We see Hasley has a meeting with the council, and she introduces the idea of actually activating Cortana, and she explains to them everything about like the plan of Cortana and what she'll do. And the council eventually they agree to try out Cortana, but not full scale. You know what I'm saying? She's still on a leash, but we'll try out Cortana and make sure, what I'm saying, if you can get it doing what you said you're going to do, then, we'll give you full power to do what you want. But until then, we'll give you a little room to do a little test. You know what I'm saying? So from there, we see Vinchin, and that's the new, leader of Madrigal now that, Quan's father's dead. And we see a video of him executing, members that were under the old rule of Kwan's father. And then we see from there that Kwan sees him executing so said members of the past Madrigal, um, ruling, and she's watching it on a camera, and you can tell that she's affected by this. It's really bothering her, of course. And so what happens is Kwan ends up talking to Soren's wife, and they have a really good talk, and it's very much so needed, right? And then we see also on the other hand of that, Soren and the Master Chief are talking, and that was also a great little discussion that they had, Uh, and then from there we see Soren, and he tells the Master Chief to the back of pull out the pellet in your back, whatever it's called, the back pellet, because it's like some type of mechanism that keeps Spartan warriors dull. You know what I'm saying? They can't really feel, they can't taste. You know what I'm saying? It just keeps them like robotic-y. You know what I'm saying? As he tells him to do that, you know what I'm saying? Soren's wife comes and tell him like, hey, he's probably not ready for this. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to bed. Let them go to bed. We'll talk about stuff in the morning type stuff. So that's what they do. They all go their own ways, and they all end up going to bed. And then from there, like the next day, or I don't know, maybe the same day, I'm not sure, because they did say they were going to sleep, but it just like kind of picks up like right after that. So I'm like, yo, but so Chief and Kwan, Master Chief and Kwan, like I said, they go to sleep. Soren's wife, his kid, and Soren, they go to sleep, whatever. And then we see that the Spartans are actually on their way to where the Master Chief is right now. From there, we see that Soren finally sees the artifact, and he ends up telling Master Chief that, hey, you may not know what this is, and I know you want to find out. You know what I'm saying? So I do have a guy that was actually on the Covenant ship that he's back here. He's with us, and maybe he'll know something about the artifact that you found. So Master Chief, Kwan, and Soren, they go see this guy named Reth. And so when they see him, he's kind of crazy. You feel me? And he ends up, but he does end up telling them a little bit about the artifact, but not everything just yet. He asked Master Chief, like, after Master Chief and him was having a conversation, he asked the Master Chief, like, you don't want the aliens to destroy us, right? And so the Master Chief says no. And so Ref takes the relic and he's about to throw it. And then Master Chief like gets in the way and catches it. And when he catches it and touches it, it activates once again. And it basically brings him back a rush of memories again. You know what I'm saying? And then the people that are in that room, except for Kwan and Soren, there are like a lot of people in this room where Reth is, and they're kind of per se crazy, you know what I'm saying? But not at the same time. Reth is definitely crazy though. But when the device activates, it drives them crazy. Like they start screaming, they start falling down, da 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 da. And these are humans, you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand like why that happened. I'm not sure if every person in that room had something to do with the Covenant. I thought it was only Reth, but hey, we'll have to see what happens in the future. But yeah, the device activates, triggers some memories for Master Chief, makes all the rest of the people in the room go crazy, except for like hurting them, not crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? But like they just cover their ears, screaming, crying, whatever. So the Master Chief lets go the artifact, and everyone in the room is like, kind of getting back to normal, you know what I'm saying? Because whatever effect the artifact did to them, it's starting to wear out, you know what I'm saying? And then Reth says to Master Chief, "You're different than the one that they have." And he also says the ring is the door to the end of the world. So by him saying you're different than the one that they have, I think they're talking about the female, like I don't know her name. I don't know exactly what she does, but she's part of the council for the Covenant. But she's like she's a human, you know, that they saved a long time ago and taught her their ways, and now she's part of the council, the head council. So I think they're talking. I think Reth is talking about that lady. Also, he does end up explaining to Master Chief about the ring. Like it being the door to the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? And he tells him that if you want to stop it, you can, but you'll have to destroy it, and then you'll have to destroy yourself. So Master Chief, he ends up leaving, and he ends up telling like Soren that I gotta meet up with the other Spartans. You know what I'm saying? And this is the only way that I'll be able to destroy this artifact and get everything right. He tells Soren, hey, can you do me the biggest favor and look after Quan? Let her stay here because you're the only person that I can trust. So please watch Quan. Soren tells Master Chief, I got your back. I'll watch her. So from there, we see that Master Chief is heading back to like the Spartans, and then the Spartans capture him, and then they bring him back to the UNSC HQ along with the artifact. And now we know that Hasley now has the artifact because she was interested into finding out what it was about, or whatever it may have been. She's really interested in the artifact. So from there we see Hasley, and she goes to talk to Master Chief while he's like in some type of like lockdown room, and they have a cool little talk, whatever. I don't know if we can trust her or if we shouldn't trust. Like I don't know. It's weird. Afterward, Hasley goes and she activates Cortana, man. So that was basically the whole premise of the episode. 3 favorite scenes is when Soren and the young Master Chief in the beginning were talking. I thought that was a deep conversation, and I feel like what I'm saying, like that. It just was a cool scene. It was a cool scene. Matter of fact, and let me just say that this whole episode didn't really have any fighting at all, but it still was enjoyable for sure. My second favorite scene would be Master Chief flying the ship through the asteroid field, bro. With Quan, bro, he was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like on some Luke Skywalker type stuff, bro. Like I was like, yo, do it. I see you. And then, so my third favorite scene would be Chief and Soren on the rubble asteroid, whatever you want to call it. Just their whole chemistry together. I like both of these actors, and Soren is funny to me, bro, like real funny to me. And then Master Chief is just so robotic that it melds with each other real well. You know what I'm saying? And I just like the duo of them, and I want to see more. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more of them when they were young. I want to see more of them as they get older. For sure, you know what I'm saying? But those are 3 of my favorite scenes. For the grade for this, like I said, even though this episode didn't have too much action at all, like I don't think it had any action at all, honestly. I still enjoyed it for the storytelling and just fleshing out other characters, learning about new characters, whatever it may have been. So I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. I think I gave the first episode an 8.5 out of 10. I'm giving this one an 8.5 out of 10. So not bad at all, man. If you guys saw the episode, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below. Did you like episode 1 more? Did you like episode 2 more? And are you ready for episode 3? Right? As always, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. This is Q's Insight. I am Callie. Until next time.